Well, hello there, sunflowers, and how are you guys today? Well, I hope you guys are doing as good as these beautiful sunflowers right here on this table. However, I am here to do a reading on Sydney Sweeney. Now, I originally thought she was a Disney star actress. However, it seems like she had gotten really her big breakout role from Euphoria, which now that we recall that, yes, I do remember actually it was Zendaya that was the Disney star. However, I digress. So here we are to do a reading on Sydney Sweeney today. Sorry, so my bracelets do not jingle jangle everywhere. I'm here to do a reading on Sydney Sweeney to see what is going on with her love life because allegedly, apparently, she has left or gotten a divorce or called off an engagement with her longtime fiance or long-term partner, Jonathan Devanio. I hope I pronounced that right. Now, let me double check. I think it's like 7 years that they've been together since 2018 and then got engaged in 2022. Now, there is a slight age difference, however, a 9 year. Sorry. There is a 9 year age gap between them, which isn't too big, but it is quite getting up there in numbers. It's almost double digits. At least that's the way I see it. However, for some reason, I'm not quite sure why they have called off their engagement after such a very long time. I'm going to do a reading on that, see what I can find in on that, and also just to see, is she content? Is she happy? Because apparently, word on the curb is, I am tired of seeing this last name, honestly. It's giving me PTSD, but this guy who she is, Glenn Podwell. So Glenn is a co-star with her in a TV. Wow, I'm sorry. Usually I am way better on this, but the name of the TV series or movie is called Anyone But You. They apparently have a good on-screen chemistry. And even though this movie came out, back in 2022, 2023, this movie came out around that time, or 2024, or when it was filmed, within the last 3 years, I'll say for sure. Within the last 3 years, this movie has came out. And it's quite interesting that during what they say amid her divorce rumors, not divorce, her calling off her engagement rumors, she happens to be spotted with a co-star who she seemed to have some good on-screen chemistry with, that they had to tell the media there is nothing going on behind closed doors. We're actually great friends. You know how that always goes. However, with that being said, I just want to see what is going on with Sydney, period. Just what's going on in her love life. What is she was she happy with Jonathan? Was she happy with Jonathan? Is she maybe, I don't know, testing out the waters with this Glenn guy? Or is she just, was she just not happy? Was she just following, like they say, the motions of life, just whatever comes at her way, gives it a try, whatever she's feeling at that moment? And so let's just see, how has her, okay, I shuffled these cards quite enough. So with that being said, wow, the card to represent Sweeney in this very moment is the Emperor. Wow, I like that for a strong beginning, especially because I have definitely been studying Aries lately, given that we're in Aries season. So let's find out what's going on with this Emperor. Why is this feminine woman in her masculine energy at this very moment? Let's find out. Well, we have the Two of Pentacles. Oh, the Seven of Wands. Okay, I see. I see. The Hangman. Okay, interesting. Oh, surrounded by sevens. Interesting. Seven of Cups. So we have the Seven of Wands and the Seven of Cups. Both cups and fire are opposites, but they can work well together if you can find the nice blend and balance between them, which we have right here down at the very bottom, which actually it truly was upside down. So I'm going to say she couldn't seem to find the balance, especially because this is in the foundation position. However, I could also flip this reading upside down and view it from a different perspective with this hangman here, because that's usually what the hangman is doing. It takes it's kind of like the Four of Swords, and it's kind of like the Hermit. All the cards symbolizing taking a sabbatical, taking even the Four of Wands, actually. All the cards symbolizing taking a sabbatical, taking a break, taking a step away to recollect yourself, to regather, to recuperate, to revitalize. That's what I see with this hangman. Usually it represents the thief, if I'm remembering correctly. But simply in the sense, the fact that usually this very back in old ancient times when these cards were originally designed, a thief usually, when they hung themselves up feet side first and head last, flip their world upside down, literally, get all that blood rushing and gushing to their head. It was actually A, for a source of enlightenment, but B, to really sit down and think about what you have done. And with that blood rushing and flowing to your head, maybe you get some more sense into you. Maybe you can actually think clearly and think more, straighten out all the blood and all your life force energies towards your head. That's going to put extra emphasis on really take some time to process and think about what to do before just moving forward with your whole body. It's almost like taking out some time to meditate. That's the best way I can bring it down to a more traditional day and time of how we would see ourselves as the hangman. But all that to be said, I forgot to pick out the rest of her cards. However, I think just with that alone, I don't think we need any more cards. However, the oracle cards will be sitting right here just in case I have any questions. So right now in this very moment, what's surrounding the Emperor? Let me just double check her zodiac sign. How funny would it be if she actually was an Aries? Oh, she's a Virgo. I like that. A Virgo. That's very nice. And let's see about this Glenn Powell. He's a Libra. Okay, her next door neighbor. I like that. I like that. Okay, and then lastly, we want to know about Jonathan. Please, can you work with me if I spell his name right? Okay. I actually do have to look up how to. Here we go. Davino. How could I not remember? And he is a Gemini. So we have two air signs. So she seems to really like the air, and she's a Virgo, making her an earth sign. Well, I see no air. But yeah, honestly, no air actually. But this card does seem to be ruled and have a nice form of balance between fire and water. And actually the only earth card that I see here, and given that she's an earth sign herself as a Virgo, and this card just happens to be upside down, and today I'm feeling particularly testy, I'll say, with my cards today. So I'm going to try to interpret the meanings of it upside down, especially with this hangman here. How ironic. But I see here in this very moment is that Sydney, when it comes to her love life at this very moment, it sounds like she wants to really take some charge and control and direction and where her life, her love life, her career, just her life period is going to go. Maybe see here in the past, we have the the seven of wands, which usually symbolizes defending your territory, standing strong, letting nobody come up against your peace, and really having a way to shine bright like a diamond and don't have to care about other people, allowing yourself to shine and putting forth the energy to forge, which is actually honestly all about Aries energy, about being forceful with your nature to be seen, to be heard, to be respected, to be on top, the best way I can put it, because the seven of swords could also symbolize that, because sometimes it is a person standing on a higher mountain fighting and warding off people, so they are elevated in the sense, and that elevation gives some great times to thinking, because speaking of elevation, and with elevation, it also helps you to move forward and overcome things, because when you're able to see things from a more bird's eye perspective, or maybe just from a different perspective, completely flip that thing upside down, completely on its head. Maybe see it like you've never seen it before. Gaslight yourself, why don't you? Like, no, not kidding. Literally, just gaslight yourself. Just humor yourself for the fun of it. Could this really just be a possibility that I'm just not considering? Kind of hangman energy, just that's really what she's taking this time out to do. Maybe it's not so much because it is rumors at this point. There is no official. They are officially calling off the wedding. However, she is now being spotted out with another person of the opposite sex that is not her fiance. So it does, sorry guys, it does raise some questions. However, it seems like right now, whatever is going on with her relationships, period, and her love life, she's just taking the time out for herself and to focus on herself instead of focusing on relationships, focusing on her career. I mean, yes, still focus on her career because that's what it's really all about. But instead of just focusing and putting all her energy into other things, really be able to ward off things, to be able to say no, to be able to stand your ground and say, if I want this and I need this, then I want this and I need this. And I've set some boundaries and I'm not going to cross those boundaries because those boundaries are there to protect and guard me. And as the emperor or empress of her kingdom or queendom, she has boundaries and parameters that is basically come in if I let you in. And then you understand how an empire goes, or a house, let's just say, if we want to think about it in modern day times, a person who pays the bills in the house, right? You are the emperor, so therefore you can command and allow in whoever you let in your parameter, your space, your boundaries. Your house parameters is your boundaries, and therefore it is your seven of swords. And whatever you allow to come in and out of your home or your kingdom is by choice. And if someone is not acting upright, then they gotta go, basically. And we see here all at the same time, though, in the future, is the Seven of Cups. An interesting card. It usually symbolizes, usually it symbolizes a time of unknowing and so many options available that you honestly do not know what to pick. Maybe she has taken some time out to really think herself into some tizzies and circles that honestly she's not quite sure where she wants to go with her future when the future comes. And she's just like, what, you're always just like, I'll get to that tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and you're just like, tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes again. And then you're just like, you know what? I'm a little bit busy today and tomorrow, but you know what? The day after, I got you. And it just becomes that rolling perpetual of you keep putting it off because you just don't know what to do with the next steps, and it's almost kind of like a project. Or she could be seeing her life as a project, like a vision board. She's putting some time into her vision board and how she wants to, before you, I mean, usually a vision board basically is just, yes, a vision board. We're just going to leave it at that one, a vision board. But what I'm going to do is pick out a card, three cards. One is going to be on Jonathan Davino. See how that relationship's going. Jonathan, how's you and Megan? Ooh. Okay. For Jonathan and Sydney, I get old. Now, that could literally mean two things. Literally, with their age difference. I mean, he's not that old. He's 41, but given that she's like in her 30s, it is kind of, or getting ready to approach her 30s. It definitely is, she would be 32. So in her 30s, looking at somebody in his 40s, thinking about that 10-year decade apart. And I just heard Sweet Tea and Dr. Gregory talk to a health specialist about eating your age and how every decade comes with a certain way of life that you have to accommodate to, because your body just isn't the same. So because of that, I'm starting to like maybe see that with them. And even though they were young and in love, it seems like it says a person that can be wise and respected. Sounds like something that she's trying to do. However, I'm going to pull two more cards. This next one is going to be on Glenn Powell. Okay, Glenn. Oh, interesting. We have the Jackal for Glenn. So if there is something going on with them, it seems like when I see this Jackal, the words that are popping out to me is deceitful, sneaky, warning, loneliness, and abandonment. Does that sound good to you? Can we flip it any kind of way to make a Jackal sound better than any of that? I don't think I can. So because of that, whoever this Glenn Powell is, like I feel about that last name Powell, you gotta drop it. Don't go with Glenn. So and then lastly, I want to know about her, how's her life, period. What is she going to do? An outcome for her future. What is the outcome for Sydney and her love life? All these cards. Okay. Wow. You guys know it's not going to be from the bottom. Okay. Oh. Interesting. Her future contains a box. And what's inside that box? A spider. So her future is both a web of entanglements. Maybe it could be an entanglement literally, as Jada Pickett calls it, or it could be an entanglement in the sense of like this Seven of Cups says for her future. confusion, don't know what to do, indecisive, too many options to pick from. Sometimes too many options is a bad thing. Sometimes you need less options to think straight and think clearly. However, a spider comes out triumphant on all times, though. I did forget that. That a spider usually is very hardworking and very dedicated. So whatever, even though she may have herself currently or in the future have herself put in a box or have walked herself into a box, doesn't mean she doesn't know how to get herself out of that box and out of that point of I don't want to say spiraling, but a point of, because, you know, spiders spiral their web, but a point, and I've been watching weirdly about silkworms today and the web that they weave. But all that to be said, I see here with the spider and the hangman, all about taking a time to think, recalibrate, get a different perspective, get some new views on life, go within, meditate, find some peace within herself, find some peace in what she wants, find some peace in in where to go with in the future with her love life, her career, and just herself, her image. What does she want now that she is approaching her mid-30s? So with all that to be said, it seems like she has her future to think about. And with that, she's definitely taken some time and she's taking some time and is going to continue to take some time to find herself fully before probably committing to anyone and fully boxing herself in. Like, yes, even though that's what she thought she wanted, now that they've gotten older together and they've matured together, they see things a bit differently. So because of that, even though they might have some form of love for each other, it's just values, age, where they're going in their lives is just not meeting up or lining up at this very moment today, even though it was back then. And that's just how life is sometimes. So with that being said, she's just taking the future forward and see what that's going to bring her. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this reading on Sydney Sweeney. I sure did. Seems like her love life is up in the air. For real. She is figuring out just as much as we're trying to figure it out with her. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I sure did. And please give this video a thumbs up if you haven't given it a thumbs up already. It would really mean a lot to this channel and we would really appreciate it. Please and thank you. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not. Did I say subscribe to the channel? Yes. And please leave your comments down below if you have not left a comment yet, or if there's anything you would like to share, anything insight on why Jonathan Davino and Sydney Sweeney broke up, maybe some chemistry or what's going on behind the scenes with Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney, and why it seems like they've suddenly reunited, as articles are talking about, like they're old-time friends that haven't seen each other in quite a long time since filming. So with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Sunflowers!